Let me ask you something. What do you do when life feels like fire all around you? When the bills stack up, the people you trusted walk away, and everything you hoped for seems to fall apart? What do you do when you feel like you're walking through hell? Most people stop. Most people sit in their pain and let it consume them. But I came here to tell you one thing. If you're going through hell, don't stop. Keep going. Because on the other side of that fire is your breakthrough. Pain can feel like a lifelong sentence when you're in the middle of it. It can feel like you're stuck locked up in something that has no end, no exit, and no light. But I need you to hear this: pain is not a prison. It's a passage. It's a tunnel, not a tomb. Just because it's dark right now doesn't mean it's over. It just means you're in the middle of the process. And most people don't make it through the process because they confuse discomfort with destiny. They think just because life hurts that life is over. No, this pain is proof that you're still alive and still becoming. Think about this for a second. When a seed goes into the ground, it doesn't blossom overnight. That seed has to go through darkness. It has to push through dirt. It has to stretch, break, and change. The moment that seed is buried, it starts a painful process of transformation. But if it quits, it never becomes a tree. And just like that seed, your pain is birthing something. It's not here to bury you. It's here to build you. The hard part is not to get mad at the process. The hard part is not to settle in the soil and decide this is where you'll stay. Too many people pitch a tent in seasons that were only supposed to be a test. You're not meant to die in the fire. You're meant to be refined by it. Gold doesn't become gold until it goes through fire. Diamonds don't shine until they're pressed. And purpose doesn't show up until pain shows up first. That's why you can't let your current circumstance define your permanent self. The breakup, the betrayal, the job loss, the sickness, that's not the end of your story. It's the middle. And the most dangerous thing you can do in the middle is sit down and give up. Some people decorate their pain. They get so used to suffering, they start building a home in it. They let their disappointment define their identity. They think, this is just how life is now. And they stop dreaming, stop believing, stop growing. But you were not created to live in misery. You were created to move through it. If you're hurting, that doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're alive. It means God's not finished. It means there's still something in you worth shaping. Let's be real, growth hurts. You know what else hurts? Staying the same. But one of them takes you somewhere. One of them leads to something greater. Pain can either be your excuse or your fuel. It can paralyze you or it can propel you. And the only difference between those two outcomes is your decision. Will you let this pain make you bitter or better? I've seen people lose everything and come out better. I've seen people cry all night long and rise stronger in the morning. Because they understood something. This pain is passing through. It's not here to stay. And when you recognize pain as a passage, you stop fearing it. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what's next? You stop blaming everybody else and start building yourself up. You stop rehearsing your problems and start reaching for your power. You can't heal while holding on to bitterness. You can't move forward if you're still arguing with the past. And you sure can't be everything you were made to be while hiding in the shadows of what hurt you. At some point, you have to say, this pain is not going to define me. It's going to develop me. Pain shows up for a reason. Sometimes it's to wake you up. Sometimes it's to slow you down. Sometimes it's to shake things loose. But no matter the form, pain always has a purpose. And it's not punishment, it's preparation. That situation that's tearing you apart, it's making room for something new. That betrayal that blindsided you. It's exposing who was never meant to go with you. That delay that's frustrating you. It's setting you up for something bigger than what you asked for. But you've got to keep walking. You've got to get up when you don't feel like it. You've got to wipe those tears, square your shoulders, and remind yourself that pain is not a destination. It's a doorway. And every step you take through it is a step closer to breakthrough, a step closer to clarity, a step closer to strength. Don't stop walking just because it's dark. Keep walking because light is ahead. Remember this: you are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after it. You are the strength that rises out of it. You are the wisdom that walks forward with it. You are the warrior that never stopped moving, even when everything in you said stop. Even when the world looked at you and expected you to quit. Pain is loud, but purpose is louder if you listen. Your story is not over just because it hurts right now. In fact, this part right here, this is the part that becomes the reason someone else doesn't give up. This is the part that you'll look back on and say, I didn't know how I made it through. But I'm so glad I didn't give up, so don't settle in your suffering. Don't marry your misery. Don't give your pain permission to dictate your future. Keep going. Keep believing, because this is not a prison. It's just the passage. And what's waiting on the other side is greater than anything you've had to crawl through to get here. In life, we're often taught to move fast. We're told to chase success like it's a race. The world screams at us, hurry up! Catch up! Don't get left behind! But what they don't tell you is that speed isn't what gets you to the finish line, it's endurance. Speed looks good for the moment, but endurance wins the marathon. Endurance doesn't always look glamorous. It doesn't always get the applause, but it keeps going long after everybody else has quit. And that's the difference maker between those who dream and those who live their dreams. See, fast starters are everywhere. They begin with hype, energy, and excitement. But when the pressure hits, when the path gets rocky, when the applause stops, that's when you find out who really wants it. The truth is, talent can make you impressive, but endurance makes you unstoppable. It's not about how quickly you get there. It's about whether or not you keep going when it stops feeling good. And that takes grit, not glamour. That takes resilience, not rush. Everybody wants progress, but not everybody wants process. And the process requires you to slow down and stay committed. It teaches you that growth isn't loud and strength isn't always flashy. Sometimes winning means getting up one more day, one more time, one more step when everything inside you says sit down. Sometimes progress doesn't look like a breakthrough. It looks like refusing to quit. That's endurance. It's doing the hard thing not once, but every single day until the breakthrough comes. Think about the people you admire, not the ones who went viral for a moment, but the ones who've been building something for years, the ones who didn't quit when life hit them, the ones who kept walking through pain, through failure, through delay. Those people didn't sprint to success. They stayed the course. And the reason their success lasts is because they were willing to endure when the storm came. Endurance isn't sexy. It doesn't come with a spotlight, but it comes with results. When you focus on endurance, you stop comparing your timeline to somebody else's. You stop racing people who aren't even going to the same destination. You understand that your journey is your journey, and rushing it can cost you everything. Because rushing builds nothing solid, it creates weak foundations. But endurance builds character. It builds patience. It builds wisdom. And that's the stuff success needs to last. Don't envy someone who blew up overnight. Ask yourself if they've got what it takes to stay up when life punches them in the mouth. We live in a microwave culture. Everybody wants it now. But greatness takes time. Greatness takes grinding in silence. It takes showing up even when nobody's watching. It takes faith to believe in a future that hasn't yet shown up. That's the power of endurance. Endurance says, I may not have it yet, but I'm not giving up until I do. Endurance says, this might take longer than I planned, but I'm here for the long haul. Let me break something down for you. The storm doesn't care how fast you are. Life doesn't care how many shortcuts you take. When trouble hits, it's the ones who train their endurance who survive. When the lights go off and the cheering stops, what keeps you going is the decision you made long ago, that you were going to finish what you started. No matter what, endurance turns commitment into character. It doesn't just give you a story, it gives you a testimony. Endurance separates the interested from the committed. Interest says, I'll do it if it's easy. Commitment says, I'll do it even when it's hard. Endurance refuses to let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. You will not always feel motivated. You will not always feel strong. But if you've got endurance, you'll keep walking even on weak legs. You'll keep climbing even with a heavy heart. You'll keep sowing even when you haven't seen the harvest. Why? Because you trust the process. You trust that what you're becoming is worth more than what you're going through. There's no shortcut to greatness. There's no fast forward button to success. And anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. Real progress, real success takes time, effort, patience, and perseverance. It takes years of showing up. It takes seasons of feeling forgotten. It takes falling down and getting up again and again and again. But if you don't quit, you win. Maybe not overnight, but eventually. And that win will be solid. It'll be earned. It'll be yours. Let me tell you something. Most people lose not because they're not good enough, but because they quit too soon. They had what it took, but they didn't stay long enough to see it manifest. Endurance isn't about running fast. It's about running far. You don't need a lightning start. You need a burning why. That fuels you through the hard parts. You need a reason that keeps you showing up when the results don't. That's how you win. You don't need a fast life. You need a focused one. You need to build discipline into your days. You need to protect your peace. You need to stop chasing everything and start mastering something. Endurance requires you to be intentional. You can't waste your time chasing every opportunity. You've got to plant yourself where you can grow, and growing takes time. But when your roots are deep, storms don't scare you. Delays don't shake you. Rejection doesn't destroy you, because you know what you're made of. And you know you're not here to sprint. You're here to endure. And let me say this, even if you failed before, even if you stopped and had to start over, that doesn't disqualify you. That actually proves you've got endurance, because getting back up is part of endurance. Trying again is endurance. Refusing to let your past write your future is endurance. You may have taken a detour, but you're still on the road. You may be slower than you hoped, but you're still moving. That means you're still in the game, and that's what matters most. So don't measure your life by how fast you move. Measure it by how far you refuse to fall. Measure it by your bounce back, by your resilience, by your refusal to settle. Life rewards the consistent, not just the quick. So keep showing up, keep building, keep believing. Because you don't have to be the fastest. You just have to keep moving forward. Pain is one of the greatest teachers you'll ever have in your life. It doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't come with a warning. But when it shows up, it has a purpose. Most people spend their lives running from pain, trying to avoid it at all costs, thinking that if they can just keep things easy, they'll make it through life safe. But here's the truth that nobody likes to hear. Pain is part of the process. It's not a punishment. It's not a curse. Pain is the path. It's the fire that burns away everything false, everything weak, everything that doesn't belong in your destiny. Now, don't get me wrong. Pain hurts. It will make you cry. It will make you question yourself. It will make you want to stop. But pain also builds you. It strengthens you in ways comfort never could. Comfort might feel good, but it doesn't grow you. Growth only happens when you're stretched, when you're pressed, when you're walking through something that demands more of you than you thought you had. Pain is the stretching. It's the breaking that leads to the blessing. If you're in pain right now, don't count yourself out. You're not at the end. You're on the path. Some of the most successful, impactful people you see today didn't get there because everything worked out for them. They got there because they learned how to keep going through the pain. They didn't let the struggle stop them. They used it. They turned their pain into fuel. They let their heartbreak become their motivation. They allowed rejection to refine their focus. They made up their minds that pain would not be the end of their story, just the chapter before the breakthrough. That's the mindset you've got to carry. You've got to stop treating pain like a wall and start seeing it like a doorway. Every struggle, every setback, every loss, it's trying to take you somewhere. It's showing you what you're made of. It's separating the real from the fake. It's building your endurance, your character, your spiritual muscle. There is something sacred about walking through pain and refusing to come out bitter. Instead, you come out stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. Think about it. The gym doesn't grow your body by making you comfortable. It grows you by putting your muscles under stress. The pain you feel in the workout is the sign that something's being activated. That same thing happens in life. Emotional pain, financial pain, relational pain, it's stretching your capacity. It's forcing you to lean into your faith. It's making you tap into your grit. And that's where real transformation happens. Not in the blessing, but in the breaking. But here's the challenge. Most people give up right in the middle of the process. They get halfway through the fire and run. They don't realize that the breakthrough is on the other side of the burn. If you can just keep going, if you can hold on one more day, one more hour, one more step, you will come out on the other side and you'll be different. You'll have a testimony. You'll have authority. You'll have wisdom you couldn't have gotten any other way. You'll stop needing to prove yourself because your pain will have already proven who you are. Pain has a way of revealing your real priorities. When life is hard, you stop wasting time. You stop pretending. You stop holding on to things and people that drain your energy. You start focusing on what truly matters, your purpose, your calling, your peace. Pain is a filter. It shows you what can stay and what needs to go. And if you pay attention, it'll not only develop you, but direct you. Sometimes the door closes because you're not meant to walk through it. Sometimes people leave because their part in your story is over. It hurts, but it helps. You've got to change the way you see your pain. Don't see it as something that broke you. See it as something that shaped you. That breakup didn't destroy you. It taught you how to love yourself. That failure didn't finish you. It redirected your future. That betrayal didn't ruin you. It revealed the truth. You're not just going through pain, you're growing through it. And every tear you cried, every night you wanted to give up, every moment you thought it was over, it was preparation. God uses pain to prepare people for greatness. But let's be real, it's not easy. Pain will test every part of you. It'll test your patience. It'll test your faith. It'll test your identity. But if you stay the course, pain will also teach you who you are. You'll discover strength you didn't know you had. You'll find purpose in places you never thought to look. And you'll stop letting people who haven't walked in your shoes tell you how to live your life. Pain makes you bold. It makes you wise. It gives you the kind of depth and discernment that no easy life could ever give you. One of the most powerful things you can do in the face of pain is to keep moving. Keep showing up, keep trusting, keep believing. Because pain doesn't last forever, but the strength you build in it does. And when you come out of that fire, you'll come out refined, not bitter, not broken, brighter, more focused than ever. You look back and say, I didn't think I'd make it through that, but look at me now. That's what pain produces. It builds legacy. It builds testimony. It builds destiny. So don't curse your pain. Don't run from it. Don't drown it out with noise, distractions, or bitterness. Face it. Learn from it. Grow through it. And keep going. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. And when the preparation is complete, the doors will open. The light will break through. The answers will come, but you'll know you didn't just stumble into your destiny, you endured into it. Your pain is not the end. It is not a period, it's a comma. It's not a stop sign, it's a detour. Let the pain grow you, not define you. Let it shape you, not stop you. Because if you can walk through the fire and not quit, not lose your hope, not lose your faith, there's nothing in life that can defeat you. You're walking through the fire, but you're not walking alone. And on the other side of this pain is a version of you that's stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever. Success doesn't just come wrapped up in a pretty box with a bow on top. It comes through pressure. It comes through pain. It comes through perseverance. See, growth don't show up when everything's going your way. Growth knocks on your door when nothing is working, when the plan falls apart, and when all you've got left is your grit, your refusal to quit, your decision to show up one more time, even when you're tired, even when you're frustrated, even when you don't see results yet. Everybody wants the harvest, but very few want the hustle. You see people winning, living the dream, making moves, and you think they must have had something special. But 9 times out of 10, what got them there wasn't talent. It was grit, that inner toughness, that mental decision that says, I ain't going out like this. It's what separates the talkers from the doers. Grit is what keeps you working behind the scenes when nobody's clapping for you. Grit is what makes you stay up late learning your craft. Grit is what pushes you through when you want to throw in the towel. If you want real growth, deep, lasting, character-building growth, you've got to get acquainted with grit. Most people run from discomfort. The moment it gets tough, they back off. They say it must not be for them. But let me tell you something, the grit moments are the growth moments. When it hurts, when it's heavy, when the finish line looks far away, that's the moment you either become average or you break through. Grit is that decision to push one more rep in the gym. It's that choice to wake up early again when your bed feels like heaven. It's that commitment to finish what you started, even when you no longer feel excited. Grit don't care about your feelings. Grit is a mindset. If you rely only on motivation, you'll quit as soon as the emotion fades. But if you develop grit, you'll keep going even when the passion dries up. You'll keep grinding when the crowd walks away. Because grit isn't driven by applause. Grit is driven by purpose. And when your life is anchored in purpose, you don't need everybody to believe in you. You believe in yourself. You don't need everything to be perfect. You just need enough faith to take the next step. Growth is birthed in that tension, that place between pressure and perseverance. It's in the fire that you get refined. Think about an oak tree. It doesn't shoot up overnight. Its roots grow deep underground first. The wind, the rain, the storms, it doesn't destroy the tree. It strengthens the roots. And that's how grit works in your life. It builds roots. It grounds you. It makes sure that when you do rise, you're stable. Because without grit, any little storm will knock you off your path. But with grit, you can face rejection and keep going. You can face betrayal and keep building. You can face loss and still speak life. That's the kind of growth that changes your life. Not surface growth, but soul growth. Now let's be real. Grit isn't always glamorous. Sometimes grit looks like tears in the dark. Sometimes it looks like showing up to a job you hate while working on your dream at night. Sometimes it means hearing no 50 times and still believing there's a yes. Grit is quiet. It's not flashy. It's not cute. But it's powerful. It makes people wonder how you're still standing. It makes your story inspirational. Not because everything was easy, but because you refused to break. And don't confuse grit with perfection. Grit isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up. Grit doesn't mean you never doubt. It means you keep going even with the doubt in your heart. It means you take the fear with you and move anyway. Real grit is tested in failure. What do you do when your plans fall apart? When your support system disappears? When the door you prayed for slams shut? That's when grit kicks in. That's when you decide, I didn't come this far to quit now. There's a reason why some people keep rising while others fade away. It's not that they were smarter or more connected. It's that they were grittier. They didn't fold when it got tough. They didn't cry and quit. They cried and kept going. That's what you've got to do. You've got to make grit your companion. You've got to train your mind to say, I'll rest when I'm done. You've got to push yourself to rise from every setback. You've got to be your own motivation when there's nobody around to cheer you on. Because grit will carry you through every dry season, every silent season, every painful season until you reach your harvest. Let me tell you something else about grit. It earns you respect. People may not always understand you, but they'll respect your hustle. They'll see the consistency. They'll feel your energy shift when you walk in the room. That's what grit does. It doesn't have to speak loud because its results are loud. Grit creates credibility. And when you're known as someone who keeps going no matter what, opportunities start finding you. Doors start opening because people want to work with someone who can take a hit and still stay in the ring. Grit also creates gratitude. When you've had to fight for everything, when you've had to build from the bottom, when you've had to learn the hard way, you don't take anything for granted. You don't act entitled. You're thankful for every step forward. And that kind of gratitude keeps your heart clean. It keeps you humble. It keeps you focused on the mission, not just the spotlight. That's what true growth looks like. It's not just about success. It's about the kind of person you're becoming while you succeed. So don't pray for an easier path. Pray for a stronger back. Don't ask for less challenge. Ask for more grit. Because with grit, there's nothing you can't bounce back from. With grit, there's no delay that can deny your destiny. And with grit, even the toughest seasons will become part of your testimony. You're not weak because you struggle. You're strong because you refuse to surrender. Every time you decide not to quit, you're growing. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're leveling up. Every time you silence the doubt in your head and take that next step anyway, you're building something that can't be shaken. And one day, when you reach the mountaintop, you'll look back and realize it wasn't just talent. It wasn't just timing. It was grit. Grit got you there. Grit kept you going. And grit will take you even further. You've got what it takes. You just have to tap into that inner fire, that fight, that hunger. Because your growth is waiting, and it's waiting on your grit. There comes a point in every person's journey where the road ahead gets blurry, where your plans don't match your reality, where everything you thought would work doesn't. The doors don't open like you imagined. The calls don't come in. The breakthrough feels delayed, and your vision starts to dim. And it's in that foggy space where faith is no longer a concept. It becomes your lifeline. It's easy to trust when things are going right, when the bills are paid, when the job is secure, when the applause is loud. But real faith shows up when you can't see 5 steps in front of you and you still say, I'm going to move. Trusting without clarity, that's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. It's like walking through a hallway with no lights on, but you keep taking steps because you know the exit is there. You just can't see it yet. Faith is that quiet voice inside of you saying, keep going. It doesn't always shout. It doesn't always come with fireworks. Most times it's a whisper, a nudge, a peace in your gut that says, you're not crazy for dreaming this big. That's how faith works. You don't need to know every detail. You just need to trust the direction. Sometimes we get caught up waiting for perfect clarity before we move. We want confirmation from 5 people. We want signs. We want everything to line up perfectly. But let me tell you something. Purpose doesn't wait for your comfort. Purpose doesn't need your permission. Sometimes you just gotta move. You gotta walk in the direction of the promise, even if it don't make sense to the people around you. That business idea, that book you want to write, that move to a new city, that step of faith, do it scared, confused, do it with shaky hands. But do it, because clarity often comes after obedience, not before. When you take that first step in faith, it opens the door to the next one. It's like a GPS. You don't get all the turns at once. You get the next one when it's time. And you've got to trust that God is orchestrating something behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. You don't need to know how it'll work out. You just need to know who you're walking with. That's what real faith is about, walking through the unknown, trusting that it's not all up to you. See, a lot of people confuse control with faith. They want to hold on to everything, control the outcome, predict every scenario. But control is an illusion. Faith says, release the outcome. Faith says, do your part and let God do His. That's hard for some of us, especially when life has taught us not to trust anything we can't see. But the truth is, your next level requires a new kind of surrender. You can't keep trying to build something new with an old mindset. When you start walking in faith, people might call you crazy. They'll say you're unrealistic. They'll tell you to be practical. But let me ask you something. Wasn't every world-changing invention once considered unrealistic? Weren't every dreamer, every innovator, every game changer once misunderstood? You can't let the limitations of others shrink the capacity of your belief. Faith requires boldness. It requires you to speak what you don't see yet. It requires you to prepare for a promise even when it looks like nothing's happening. You prepare because you trust the process. There's a kind of strength that only shows up when you walk blindly with belief. That kind of strength builds something in you that talent can't touch. It matures you, it humbles you, it grows you. Because walking in faith isn't just about the destination, it's about who you become along the way. You learn to rely on something greater than your ability. You develop resilience, you sharpen your instincts. You become more intentional, more grateful, more focused. And that transformation, That's the real reward. So many people give up because they're waiting for perfect conditions. But faith flourishes in imperfection. Faith is what helps you build when the money's tight. Faith is what keeps you planning when the ground looks dry. Faith is what keeps you loving after heartbreak, hoping after loss, and standing after falling. You don't need everything to be perfect to keep going. You just need enough faith to not stop. And let's be real, walking by faith doesn't mean you won't doubt. It doesn't mean you won't have moments of fear or frustration. It just means you don't let those emotions lead your decisions. You feel the fear, but you still choose forward. You feel the confusion, but you still choose trust. That's what separates those who make it from those who stall. The decision to believe even when it's uncomfortable. Think about the seed. It goes into the dirt, buried unseen in darkness. Nobody applauds it. Nobody posts about it. But something is happening under that soil. The roots are forming. The foundation is growing. And when the time is right, that seed breaks through. That's how your faith works. It may feel like you're buried, but you're being planted. Something is growing in you, even if you can't see it right now. So don't curse the waiting season. Don't hate the unclear path. That's the classroom of faith. That's where strength is built. That's where warriors are made. The people you admire, the success stories you celebrate, they all had to walk through the dark before they reached the light. You don't skip the process. You trust it. Your dream deserves your full belief, not partial belief, not belief on good days, but consistent, quiet, strong belief day after day. Even when it's lonely, even when it's slow, even when it feels like nobody sees you. Your faith is not for the crowd. It's for the climb. And every step you take with that belief builds momentum, builds discipline, builds destiny. So if you're in a season right now where nothing makes sense, don't panic, don't shut down, don't throw away the vision. Breathe, center yourself, and trust again. You're not lost, you're being led. You're not forgotten, you're being developed. And if you keep moving forward with that steady, unshakable faith, everything that's for you, every blessing, every open door, every divine connection will meet you on the path. Keep walking, even when it's dark, even when it's unclear, because faith never fails. It may not always be fast, but it's always faithful.